The movie begins with a tense bank robbery carried out by a highly coordinated team. Among the members are Liev and Willa, a married couple, Ali, a specialist in reconnaissance and tracking, Keeney, an expert hacker with outstanding skills, and Flynn, a reliable and exceptional getaway driver. Jeff, a security officer at the same institution, has been tasked with transporting a large sum of money that day. The situation becomes complicated when his partner, Weber, also in charge of the transfer, is in mortal danger as a bomb explodes in his seat. In that instant, Liev warns him that any sudden move could trigger the detonation, intensifying the scene's tension. Later, the team loads the cash into the getaway vehicle, but just then, Keeney's voice interrupts, alerting them that the alarm has been activated. Time is running out. Inside the bank, Vince, another security officer, draws his weapon as the pressure mounts. Liev tries to de-escalate the situation, saying they are unarmed, but the tension quickly rises when Vince shoots Liev. Willa, seeing her husband wounded, collapses in a panic. With police forces rapidly approaching, Hallie forces Willa to abandon Liev, dragging her to safety as the clock continues to tick. Years later, Willa's life has adopted a more tranquil rhythm. She is the mother of Sophia, the product of her relationship with Liev. They live in a suburban neighborhood, accompanied by Carl, a local doctor. On a hot, sunny day, Willa watches from her porch as Sophia dances in the garden, her laughter filling the air. But suddenly, that joy ends when Sophia falls abruptly and loses consciousness. Carl, who is about to leave for work, runs to help her without hesitation. He lifts her into his arms and immediately takes her to the hospital. At the medical center, Carl quickly takes control of the situation. After running tests, it is revealed that Sophia was born with a congenital heart condition that makes her prone to fainting. He informs Willa that she needs urgent surgery and that the only option to save her is to find a compatible donor. However, when they analyze her blood, the results are devastating. Willa is not a match. Meanwhile, Liev, still alive but sentenced to a long prison term for his part in the failed heist, struggles to make sense of his situation. Every time he tries to communicate, the line is abruptly cut off. He soon discovers that the warden, Locke, is blocking his access to information and external communications. In his desperation to expose the corruption in the prison, which involves torture, bribery, and abuse, Liev tries to contact a journalist, but Locke prevents it. He orders a group of inmates to beat Liev until he is immobilized, aware that his fight for justice could ruin his life. At the hospital, Carl and Willa work tirelessly, searching for a donor for Sophia with anguish weighing on their hearts. In a moment of calm, Willa confesses to Carl that she still believes Liev is alive. He tries to reassure her, telling her there is still hope for their daughter, but the truth is harsh. Willa has heard nothing from Liev for years. After this revelation, Willa decides to confront the past and visit Liev in prison. The next day, she arrives with a heavy heart. An officer, Jiden, accompanies her to the visit, but nothing prepares her for what she finds. Liev lies unconscious in the infirmary with visible bruises and fractures. Jiden explains that 2 days ago, another inmate beat him, leaving him in a critical state. Shock paralyzes Willa as she processes the impact. Locke approaches and offers apologies with soft words but no genuine empathy. He assures her he will investigate the attack, insinuating that Liev was involved with some criminal gang. Willa's disbelief is evident. She knows Liev well and knows he doesn't seek protection from such people. Before leaving, she takes a deep breath and gathers the courage to speak clearly. She confesses that her true intention is to save her daughter and asks for special authorization to temporarily release Liev so he can donate a vital organ. Locke's response is cold and full of bitterness. He assures her that the only reason Liev is still alive in prison is because of the medical attention he receives there, a resource they will soon eliminate. With a chilling smile, He warns that they will soon deprive Liev of all health care. Willa is left frozen, crushed by the weight of the situation, facing a man with so much power and so little humanity. Desperation grows, and she knows she must act. So she decides to call her old gang. The next day, Keeney and Flynn visit Sophia at the hospital. Willa wastes no time and tells them that her daughter's life is in mortal danger. But as she explains, Flynn, who has always been skeptical, suspects that Willa has summoned them for a new heist. Keeney, who now has a stable job in cybersecurity, quickly dismisses that idea. To Willa's surprise, she learns that Keeney and Flynn have been in contact since their last operation went wrong. Without losing time, Willa shares her plan. She not only seeks to reunite with Liev, but also to get help to break into the prison and save him, as he is in a coma. Keeney, who hears the proposal, is paralyzed. The idea seems absurd, dangerous, and very risky. But Willa, determined, insists that this is her only option. When justice allows Liev to go without medical attention, it will be too late. There are no other alternatives. The next day, the three women meet at Willa's house. Keeney quickly and precisely begins hacking the prison's security system. In seconds, she gains access and discovers a confidential file linked to Locke. There, she understands that they will need an informant inside the prison to leave no trace. She then casually mentions that the prison is hiring a library assistant. Flynn, feeling uncomfortable, rejects that option immediately, insecure about being a respectful and silent employee. However, understanding the danger of the situation, she agrees to participate, albeit without enthusiasm. Then, Keeney reports from the hospital that she has mapped entry routes, cameras, and the entire surveillance system, omitting no details. But at that moment, Willa is surprised to see Hallie in the room, visiting Sophia. Without a word, she quickly turns away, nervous about the unexpected visit. Flynn and Kenny argue heatedly, raising the tension until Hallie approaches Willa with an expression of regret. She silently apologizes for having abandoned Liev during the years of the heist. Shortly after, Willa and Hallie meet. Hallie explains that she was invited by Flynn to participate in this dangerous mission, but Willa, thoughtfully, decides to trust her to act as a spy, infiltrating the prison. However, Hallie hesitates, aware that her past visits to Liev make her an easy target for the police. Despite this, Willa insists that she avoided visiting Liev for fear of being caught and leaving Sophia unprotected. Hallie stays with Sophia in the hospital, but upon arriving, Willa notices a photo of Liev on her daughter's bed. Hallie had placed it there so Sophia would know her father. But upon seeing it, Willa feels a contained anger. This detail could put them both at legal risk. Hallie defends her decision, asserting that Sophia deserves to know the truth, and before leaving, she expresses her disappointment, saying that the Willa she knew would never have done something like this. When she leaves, Carl tries to console Sophia, while Willa remains visibly affected. Later, Carl learns that Liev is willing to donate his heart to save Sophia. For a moment, he regains hope and offers to help, but Willa, suspicious and determined not to drag him into her chaos, rejects him. The next day, Flynn arrives at the prison as an infiltrator and is introduced to Jayden, a guard to whom she assigns the alias Anna. She believes she can obtain key information about the prison's routine. Cautiously, she begins to explore the exits, but her heart races when she unexpectedly runs into Jayden. To avoid suspicion, she invites him to lunch and feigns composure. Meanwhile, Willa and her team meet in their hideout to plan the heist. She, as the leader, details each step with precision. She asks Flynn to get the warden's keys, but she refuses. The guards always have them on them. Keeney proposes a more viable alternative. If they get a clear photo of the keys, she can make copies. Flynn, following the new plan, gives Jayden a book where she hides her true mission, to get that image. Jayden succeeds and sends the photo to Keeney. Flynn thinks everything is under control until Jiden invites her to dinner. Although she hesitates, she accepts, believing that this will maintain her cover. Days later, the group meets again, but a new threat emerges. Carl has discovered the plan. He feels betrayed and demands an explanation from Willa. Hallie intervenes, reminding them that a surgeon is needed to extract Liev's heart. Faced with this, Carl walks away, uninterested in getting more involved. Hours later, in a hotel room, Flynn and Jiden are alone. An attraction develops between them, but just as the tension reaches its peak, Flynn's phone rings with a message from Keeney. Upon reading it, Jiden discovers that Flynn is an infiltrator who wants to expose Locke's crimes. Meanwhile, Hallie and Willa meet with Toaf, a disgraced surgeon who now works in a butcher shop after losing his license due to addiction. He agrees to help, but demands $100,000 for the intervention. The next day, Flynn is alarmed to learn that the medical staff plans to disconnect Liev's feeding tube. She tries to call Willa, but she doesn't answer. She is focused on preparing the key vehicle for the plan. Time is running out. With a broken voice, Willa expresses to Hallie her desire to see her family again and reunite with Liev. Hallie encourages her to keep the faith. The plan must work. With that impulse, Willa starts the vehicle and leaves. Just then, she receives an urgent message from Flynn. The operation must be done immediately without further delay. The team goes into action. Hallie, disguised as a driver, heads to the prison transporting a package. Inside the vehicle, camouflaged among the cargo, travel Willa and Toe, ready to extract Liev's heart tissue. The journey is long and tense. Keeney, from a clandestine location, hacks the prison's security system. In seconds, she manages to clear access, and Hallie passes the checkpoint without obstacles. The inmates unload the packages and store them. Taking advantage of the confusion, Willa and Todd get out of the vehicle and blend into the environment, dressed in police uniforms that grant them immediate authority. They surrender to the rhythm of the prison without problems, and soon find Flynn, who points them to the route to the medical room where Liev lies. There, they pose as a team sent by Locke to supervise the procedure. The nurse, Deborah, is suspicious and contacts Locke to confirm, but ends up speaking with Keeney, who is impersonating his assistant. Keeney assures her that Locke is in an important meeting and should not be interrupted. Still, Deborah insists on seeing him in person. Meanwhile, Willa and Todd begin to prepare the surgical equipment. The tension soars. The operation to extract Liev's heart is about to begin. From another room, Locke prepares to remove Liev's tube, but just as he enters, he receives a call from Deborah. There is already personnel on site. Alarmed, he runs to verify while Flynn prays that everything goes well. In the distance, Jiden appears with a USB drive containing evidence against Locke. Although tension overwhelms him, he receives the order to go to the medical room. Time is running out. Todd explains to Willa that he will need to extract Liev's entire heart to save Sophia. Devastated, Willa consults Hallie. After a tense silence, Willa agrees and Todd acts quickly. After extracting the heart, he asks for ice to preserve it. Willa gets it and flees to the room. Locke arrives shortly after and upon noticing the absence of the heart, explodes in fury. He orders Jiden to find out who extracted it. While Willa, Flynn, and Todd try to escape, the guards block the exits. Locke identifies them on the cameras and gives the order to capture them. Chaos ensues. Surrounded, they seem to have no way out. But Todd throws a distraction bomb, allowing them to escape. Although they gain some time, Locke already knows their movements. Outside, Jiden and Flynn make one last attempt. Jiden threatens to reveal Locke's crimes if he doesn't release Liev and retrieve the heart. Locke, imperturbable, shoots Jiden and Hallie. In the midst of the confrontation, Jiden manages to wound and finally kill Locke. With the threat neutralized, Willa contacts Keeney to escape. They manage to get out, but Hallie dies from her wounds before receiving help. Despite everything, Sophia survives and returns to her life. Willa, from prison, begins a new stage with Carl, forming a small family and leaving her past behind.